What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Emperor Atheist channel with your host, the Emperor Atheist. First and foremost, I want to say thanks to all my new subscribers. Thanks to everyone liking and sharing my videos. I did my last video was on well, besides my discussion with King Crocodile, the last video I actually done was on Constantine. I asked the question: Did Constantine add or take away any of the books of the Bible? So a lot of people got a lot of feedback on that. So a lot of people actually want me to do another video on that. Guess a lot of people like when I talk about biblical history and things like that, which I actually love biblical history. So yeah, I probably gonna wound up revisiting Constantine, and not just Constantine, but actually revisit the Nicene Council and actually what took place and the canonization of the Bible. So I'll probably be revisiting a part 2 to that. Probably going to take a part 3 too as well. But today, I am revisiting this flat Earth phenomenon. I don't know if I should call it a phenomenon or a disaster, but for humans to believe this, and you know, man, I mean, you know, I call them Flattards. I know, because it's basically fun. I don't necessarily try to be ad hominem with it, but it's fun. It's amazing that people would just go against science and go against, I mean, just to be, I don't know, just to be on the wrong side of reality is just, it's amazing to me. You know, I understand we have differences of beliefs as far as religion. You believe there's God, I don't. Okay, I can go with certain things. Even within atheism, respectively, and even within theism, respectively, there are different opinions and different degrees of what people believe within religion. I mean, you have Islam, you have Christianity. Within Christianity, and even within Islam, you have different sects of Islam that totally believes in something different from another sects of Islam. Same thing with Christianity. Different sects of Christianity that believes or disagrees with each other. So I understand, you know, as humans, we're going to have things that we disagree on. But there are certain things that I think that are objectively important and that are objectively right. Now, I'm not saying that science is perfect. Of course it's not. Has it always been perfect through the centuries? No, it hasn't. But there are certain predictions that we can make. There are certain theories that we know, certain laws that we know, certain constants, universal constants, that you just can't defy. And it has nothing to do with your religion. It has nothing to do with your atheist, agnostic, or theist. It has all to do with respecting evidence and science. And this is what flat earthers just can't seem to do. They come up with all these crazy ass conspiracies. And I actually love to talk about them because every video I make, man, you get all of the hate comments and crazy comments. And some of them not all. So I'm not going to say all the flat earther comments are crazy. Not all of them are crazy. Some of them just basically, they just have to say something to let it be known that they're a flat earther too, flattard or whatever. So I just wanted to ask a few questions. And I've asked these questions before, and other people's asked these questions. And there's been debates going on with flat earthers lately. And you know, it's just strange to me. Every debate I've seen, and I try my best. I try my best not to be biased, but every debate I've seen, it always comes to basically the flat earthers throwing red herrings, saying shit that just don't make sense. I'm sorry, but that's just what they do. They go off topic, start making up things. And you know, red herring, for those who are not probably familiar with this particular logical fallacy, but it comes from 17th century thing, when people was running from certain, where they were running from authorities or running from whoever, they would paint these type red, they would throw these red herrings out to try to distract or divert the smell or do certain things like that. So that's why the term red herring, that's basically where the term red herring come from, to basically divert or throw off topic. And this is what I've noticed, man, in every debate I've seen within the last 2 or 3 months, from those who oppose flat earth and those who propose it. The flat earthers have come with no science to say, hey man, y'all wrong about the spherical earth. None. I talked about a guy named Mark Sargent, because I made a video about Falcon SpaceX, and basically, you know, what Elon Musk did. Well, he hit me up. He didn't hit me up, but he commented on in my video because he made this big tweet, and he's like the head guy of one of these Flat Earth Society subgroups, I think. But he's real popular, got a lot of followers, and who believe that the Earth is a pancake. But anyway, he hit me up. He said, "Hey, yeah, thank you for inviting my subscribers and my followers to Flat Earth." And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't think I'm doing that, man, because most of my subscribers have sense enough to know that the Earth is not flat. They respect research and science. So, you know, we went back and forth, and I invited him to actually debate his beliefs live if he wanted to do that. I would love to take him on or whoever else. But I just, I don't know, man. It's basically, I don't know if it's worse or better than young Earth creationist beliefs or not, man. I don't know where to put it. To believe that the Earth is flat or to believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old. I don't know which one. I don't know. It's bad, man. It's bad for kids. It's bad for academia. It's bad for humans to believe stuff like this in 2018. But there's just a few questions I want to ask, man, because when I ask these questions in certain groups or forums, I never get my questions answered. Well, one of the first questions I asked, and I think even my friend Cool Hard Logic, who I think, man, I have to give props to Cool Hard Logic. There's a few more brothers I got to give props to. Who have basically dedicated their channel, man, to a lot of research, a lot of great video editing on basically debunking and smashing these flat Earth beliefs. But, you know, just a few simple questions. Like I said, that basically all of us have asked. And all the answers that we get back on this particular question, which is, where is the edges of the Earth? Have you ever been to the edges of the Earth, Flattards? Or has anybody ever got to the edge of the Earth? And why have no one ever recorded it? In the history of flat earthiness, no one has ever recorded that they made it to the edge. So I myself have asked these questions for years. Other people have made videos asking these questions, showing how stupid it is. Just one particular question. Then I'm going to other questions. But just, where's the edge of the Earth? And most of the answers that I get back from these Flattards is that, well, you know, there's a lot of the UN stop you from getting to the edge, or there's some forces, something stop. It's an excuse. I don't give a damn who you ask. When you ask them who has ever made it to the edge, or why they haven't just made the trip themselves, they're going to tell you that there's a bunch of ships out there. Not to mention the math and how many ships it would take to block you from getting to any part of the edge of the Earth. Because obviously, if the Earth is a sky pizza, then you could shoot north towards the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. You can go east, west, whichever way you wanted to go. And I'm going to put some links on this flat Earth map that they believe in. That they believe in. That's just it goes against all science. It goes against all math, all physics, all geometry. But back to the question. Every time you ask a flat earther, where's the edge? Or have they ever went to the edge? How does water not go off the edge? Because most flat earthers, Flattards, don't believe in gravity. So what keeps the water from going over the edges of the Earth on all sides of this pancake? You can never get direct answers for any of this. I'll challenge some of you. Just answer some of these simple questions, man. Because most of you don't believe in gravity. You say, oh, you can't prove gravity because, oh, you know, science doesn't have a real working theory of how gravity works. That may be true, but that doesn't mean gravity is something that is not real, Flattards. Let's just be sensible. Let's be realistic here. We don't have a working, strong theory of, say, dark matter or dark energy, but we have facts that are there. We just don't have a good working theory to maybe explain it well. But these are the things that flat earthers just can't seem to grasp or get around. Now, my point of contention is, if you can't answer me, why won't you, all you flat earthers, get together and just go to the edge? Because if the Earth is flat, you're going to eventually get to an edge. Please get there. What's taking you so long to get there? Okay? You never answer that. That's my first question. Why haven't you made it to the edge, or why hasn't anyone else made it to the edge? My second question is simple. commercial airplanes. Now, hopefully most of you flat earthers will please just be honest about this, man. I know a lot of you have been on commercial flights. You know airplanes are real, right? We know there's such thing as airports. We know that there's a such thing as airstrips. We know that there's such thing as towers that help airplanes fly in safe, fly out safe. So none of you flattards disagree with me on that, right? Okay. So you do believe in airplanes. You do believe in flight, hopefully. Okay. Well, this brings me to my second question. How are commercial airplanes able to fly non-stop between, say, Sydney, Australia and Santiago, Chile? 14-hour trip. Now, according to your flat earth map, this would be impossible. 14-hour trip between Sydney, Australia and Santiago, Chile. Now, this is impossible according to you. There's no way that these Southern Hemisphere flights could take place. Now, speaking about the Southern Hemisphere, you know, flights between, say, like I just said, like Australia, Africa, South America. How can this particular happen if we understand flight paths? Do you flattards believe in flight paths? If we look at flight paths on a spherical Earth, and I wish I would have spliced some of this in my video, and we just look at certain calculations of, we know, we understand that planes at least fly, we're going to say 500 miles per hour, for example. We look at these particular flight paths, on a spherical Earth. We know for a fact that non-stop flights from, example I just gave, from say Australia, Sydney, Australia to Chile, we know this is going to be about 14 hours long. Or flights from the same Australia to, say, South Africa. This might probably be an 11, 12-hour trip, non-stop. How is that possible? How is that possible on this flat Earth map that Flat Earth Society uses and other flat Earth people use? How is it possible? Whatever map you use, whatever type map, flat Earth map you use, how is that possible? I mean, can y'all please answer that question? I mean, I think it's a simple 2 questions that you should be able to answer. And if you take the challenge to answer these 2 questions, I mean, I have like 10 or 15,000 more questions to ask you that you've never answered. But just answer those questions there. The edges of the Earth and nonstop flights from one part of the world to the other. Why can't you never answer these questions? Now, we've been asking these questions, and none of you have given a scientific answer for these particular questions. There's other questions that we ask you that you never answered. Eclipses. Why do your flat Earth not predict eclipse, solar eclipse, or lunar eclipse? But why does the spherical Earth predict these things precisely? I'm going to ask this question again. Maybe some of you smart flattards can come answer this question. Why is it that according to the spherical Earth theory, okay, we can predict solar eclipses and lunar eclipses precisely, but your flat Earth cannot? Now, something is not right about that. I know most of you believe that there's some type of dome on top of the Earth, which is pathetic. You also believe that the sun revolves around the Earth, which is worse than pathetic. I don't know how big you think the sun is. I really don't. Because if you don't think the sun is at least 93 million miles away, and you might say, well, globe-tard, you might call me a globe-tard. How do you know the Earth? How do you know the sun is 93 million miles away? Well, we actually have math to prove these things. Wow. Simple physics to prove exactly how far our yellow dwarf star is from us. But if you believe that the sun, just say 200,000 miles away, 150,000, I don't know what you, because I get different answers from so many of you different flattards. But you just say the sun is 200,000 miles away, 150,000 miles away. How big is it? How big is the sun? Because if it's the size that we think it is now, according to real science, then of course you know that there would be no life on this planet, right? I mean, you absolutely know that. Also, I assume that when we look outside of our telescopes and we see Mars and Venus and Uranus and Saturn, and we basically see that all of these are spherical, and surely all of you flattards can see the same thing when you look out your telescopes that you can just buy for yourself. You know, I obviously you see the same thing. Just a philosophical question here. This is not even a scientific question I want to ask you. Why in the hell would all these other rocks be spherical and ours be flat? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me either. But maybe one of you Flattards can explain that. I didn't say I really didn't want to ask that many questions because I know my video comment section is going to be bombarded with Flattard comments and anger and emotional hate. But I look forward to it. I really look forward to it. I really like you guys, and I hope one day we can inflate your brains back up to regular size. Hopefully we can do that. Once again, thank you for watching my video, for sharing my videos, and liking my videos, and disliking my videos, Flattards. I really appreciate it. But if you can answer those few questions I just asked, that would be a nice thing. That would be very nice. And if you want to do it live, we can do that too. However you want to do it. But once again, I am the Emperor Atheist, questioning Flattards once again. Peace. I'm out.